All right. We are back for Roundtable Ravens episode number 18. I am once again joined by Billy, Melissa, and Buddy as we get into all things Ravens football. Kind of a lot still going on with the Ravens. Not a lot, kind of a lot. Yeah, there's just some stuff to talk about. A little bit.
Hmm.
The top of the list here. So Jackson Smith and Jigba became the league's highest paid receiver. He leapfrogged Jamar Chase by 2 million. He's now getting paid 42.15 million per season. It was a 4 year, 168 million deal, I believe it was.
Yep,
Thank
point
you.
six.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Point six. So obviously he deserved it. That dude played out of his mind. He got the most receiving yards, and he was arguably one of the major reasons why the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl, apart from their obviously really good defense. But JSN was just on another level. Like nobody
Hmm.
touched that guy. Obviously, he did deserve it. He's been getting better and better every year. But that puts the Baltimore Ravens in a very precarious place because of Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is going into his fourth year, and he's also been getting better and better. He is arguably their only really true playmaker on offense right now. I mean, obviously Derrick Henry and Lamar, but in terms of pass catching, he's it. That's the guy. Um, the Ravens reportedly are going to be picking up his fifth-year option, or rather, that's the plan right now, which would pay something a little bit over 27 million for that year. But I don't think that's what they're going to want to do, because if the wide receiver market continues to go up, it would be smarter to pay him now as opposed to when you have to give him that ridiculous amount of annual money per year, because he's only getting better. And he put up 1,200 yards, over 1,200 yards last season on a Ravens team that struggled really, really mightily. And Lamar Jackson wasn't even throwing him the ball for a good chunk of that time. So clearly, Zay Flowers is the guy. We know this. We've seen Zay Flowers play, and his star is only rising. Like I said, he's going into his fourth year here. He's only going to get better. And we don't know what the Ravens are going to do wide receiver wise in the draft or free agency or anything right now. And he is literally the only guy. So that being said, I think instead of doing the fifth year option, I think next year they extend him and they get him closer to the top 10, maybe. Obviously, assuming that he goes over the 1,000 yard mark, which he probably will again. But if he gets anything like 1,500 plus receiving yards, that number, that contract number is going to go way up. So, yeah.
Yeah, the market's just going to keep getting reset. I think Puka Nakua is up for one too. Like the longer they wait, the deeper they have to dig into their pockets to do it. As you said, he's the only guy. He's the first Pro Bowl wide receiver in Ravens history. Like I think that that's the guy that you want to keep around. That's the guy who's been building chemistry with Lamar for his whole career. Yeah, I think that I agree with you. They've got to extend before picking up that option.
Yeah. And not only is that important, I'm totally on board with you guys. That also avoids them like a Tyler Linderbaum type of situation, right? Like
Yep.
they
Yep.
they're
His
in-house.
agent is going to be like, I know the price,
Yeah.
and he'll get
Yeah.
it.
No, yeah, exactly. So like I think there's a lot of things in Zay Flowers' favor right now because we don't know what the Ravens are gonna do in the draft. Um, I mean Eric DeCosta has drafted, wide receivers early in his, in his tenure there in Baltimore. Will he do it again? I really don't know with that 14th overall pick, right? Because they have so many other needs. So a wide receiver is far from a guarantee, I believe, right? So you avoid the Tyler Linderbaum situation with Zay Flowers, and like you said, James, he's only getting better and better. He had a career year last year, and that was with Lamar playing what, 13
Mhm.
games, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Lamar played most of the season, but he didn't play all of the season,
Mhm.
and Zay still went out and
He didn't
produced.
play
Yeah,
when we needed him.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, he had a couple fumbles here and there, right? But he's proven that he is a deep threat. He's very versatile with the ball, right? And he's very explosive too. So, you know, at this point, it's like, what other options do the Ravens? It's not really that's not really like the major driving point, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like Flowers and agents gonna be like, well, I mean, hey, you have us, and we want to be here, and you kind of got to pay the price to keep me around, right?
Yeah, I mean, and looking like at the Miami Dolphins and what they did with Jalen Waddle, they gave him a 3 year, like 28 point something, 28.25 million per year deal, like early on because he was already doing really well. And I think that's something that they should explore even this season with Zay Flowers. You know, you get him in there early, you go, look, like with the production that you have on the field already, this is what we can offer you. You know, obviously it's all about that guaranteed money, not so much about the annual amount. You give them a decent amount of guaranteed, at least those 2 years worth of guarantees on that contract, and you just call it a day for now. Obviously, you're kicking the can down the road, but you don't have to hold out and hold out and hold out. And then in 2027, after the 5th year option comes up, then you're going to have to pay him what 45 to 50 million per year as a receiver. Like that's an insane amount of money, but that's where it's headed. You know, Jamar Chase obviously deserved that money, as does Jackson Smith and Jigba. And when the Los Angeles Rams extend Puka Nacua, he's going to deserve that money too, because they're just game changing wide receivers. You know, there's been a lot of kind of weird criticism of Zay Flowers for some, I don't know why, when he's a really good receiver.
I'll tell you why. It's that fumble.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, like, you know,
he doesn't deserve it, but I'm telling you that's why.
Yeah, I know things happen, right? Like you're young, you're gonna screw up, and it is what it is, you know. Like same thing could be said for Xavier Smith and the Rams. We know what happened, you know, but whatever. These things happen. Regardless, Zay Flowers, like you said, buddy, he can be that deep field threat, but he's also that kind of over the middle yards after the catch monster that just takes the hell off. And again, he's just going to get better and better. So I think they need to hurry up and give him some sort of extension very quickly, and not wait for that 5th year option and beyond that, because then you're getting yourself into a position where it may not be the Tyler Linderbaum situation with Zay Flowers, but it could be a Tyler Linderbaum situation with any other player who also needs to get paid at the same time. And then you're putting a stranglehold on your cap because you decided not to extend Zay Flowers, not to give him that extension, and instead you have to pay him, you know, pay through the nose to keep him, but then whatever other player comes due. Could be Lamar. We don't know.
Yep.
Oh, a whole lot of money going out to players these days.
I think Lamar's the same. I think they're both like 2028. It comes up around that for both of them. And yeah, Zay, like you said, he's tricky, you know, he's great. Mm-hmm. He's so fast. He's so good at getting out of situations. Like, just pay him, move on, just have that look. And also it'll keep the fans happy after the nonsense that they've just been through.
Yeah. I mean, and this should, you know, teach Eric DeCosta in the front office a big lesson for the future. If they don't learn anything from this and stick to their guns of like the way that they've been operating, excuse me, it's not going to go well. You know what I mean? Hey, they need to evolve is what I'm saying.
I'm going to tell you the 2028 undrafted or unrestricted free agents is Lamar, Madubuike, Roquan Smith, Ronnie Stanley, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Zay, Nate Wiggins, Tyler Huntley. So get that.
That's your whole team. Yeah,
that's your
whole team. All the players that truly matter. That's your whole team right there. But you know, you gotta do something. You know, obviously they dodged a proverbial bullet by not having to pay Max Crosby a really big deal because that fell through. So you can consider that a bonus, if you will, but there's still players that got to get paid. You know, Trey Hendrickson just secured that big contract. You know, there's a lot happening with the Ravens where I just think don't wait. Just give him an extension now. Give him a good 3-year deal, something like $30 million per year. Keep him happy. Like you said, Billy, keep the fans happy and keep that core offensive piece in the building and then address it down the road.
He might be pushing it out though. He might be like Lamar. He might be wanting to see what this new administration is all about.
Yeah, and which is fair, and that's very true. You got to see what you got. You know, nobody knows what the Ravens are going to be in 2026, but apparently they're supposed to be the best team in the NFL according to some sports books. Yeah, so DraftKings has the Ravens as the highest win total at 11.5 games over the Seattle Seahawks, over the Los Angeles Rams, over everybody that competed down the stretch. For some very weird reason, the Ravens, their over-under is 11.5 wins. What? Look, I'm not saying that the Ravens are not going to be a good team. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying, how do you figure that this is the team that's going to get the highest win total? Unless, of course, DraftKings is betting on everybody betting the under and then making a lot of money, which of course that's what their sports book, that's what you do. But I just think because of where the Ravens are at, you have a new regime. There sometimes there is a growing period. You look at the Jets with Aaron Glenn, like they were not good, and they're probably still not going to be that good, regardless of all the money that they spent. But you look at, Jim Harbaugh, he turned the Chargers around in year one. So Jesse Minter was over there. He could very well turn the Ravens around in 1 year, which 8-9, that's not that big of a difference to turn around. As long as you go 10-7 or whatever, you're turning the team around. But to have them at 11 and a half wins over everybody else, I don't see that right now. Again, I'm not saying that they're not going to be competitive whatsoever, but there's just the free agency losses and Jesse Minter as a first time new head coach. There's a lot of unknowns.
This happens every year. It's unsurprising to me. We're a team that win. That's roughly an average year for us. So I get it. We got the exact same backing last year and see where we ended up. And I think that the 8 and 9 situation this year is completely circumstantial. Like we had down so many injuries. But that saying, I don't know if those injuries now just have become free agency losses. And so I can see the confusion. I get it. But we are just a team that wins. And as long as we stay the team that we have been and are expected to be, I mean, our schedule's not easy. We've obviously, the AFC North is tough to play in. We've also got the up and coming Panthers. We're playing the Bills, Colts, Texans, Cowboys, however you feel about them, Jags. Like,
it's kind of a murderer's row, if you will.
Yeah, it's a rough schedule.
It's a lot of playoff teams, minus the Cowboys, that the Ravens got to get through, and that's another reason why. That's why I'm like, 10 and a half wins, match them with everybody else. Sure, I would have said 10, just flat, like 10 wins over under. Obviously, again, this could be them trying to make more money as a sports book, but I don't know. To lead the league is just a little weird.
People clearly believe in what Minter's building and the potential that he has. I think we're better as underdogs. We perform better when people doubt us. So I actually would prefer it to be the other way, pop us at the bottom, say we're going to do terrible, and I believe we do great. So yeah, I don't know. I hear the confusion.
Yeah, I know. It like just the number itself sounds kind of weird, especially with who they have lost. But at the same time, if Lamar Jackson's under center, he wins over 60% of his games,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Lamar Jackson is just an ultimate winner. Sure, say what you want about him postseason or whatever the case is. He's still, I believe, the most dynamic, quarterback in the league, and he's just a straight up winner, and he's been winning his entire career. Like, yeah, Billy, I'm looking at the schedule. Like the only maybe easy game is against the Titans, but even then, they have a new head coach in Robert
Yeah.
Saleh, Cam Ward, right? Who knows what they're going to materialize in? I also look at the Saints too. I mean, Saints might still be just as bad as they were last year. That's the only team. I'm like, okay, I don't see a real major like flip from the Saints here, but yeah, like you have the Chargers, and then every single opponent in the AFC North just gives you headaches, no matter
yeah.
how bad they are, right? Like even the Browns sometimes could give the Ravens some headaches with the
Yeah.
same team in that division, right? And then the Bengals, you have Joe Burrow coming back possibly, and then we all know what
Steelers.
Ravens always a classic matchup, right? So you really just don't know. Like we talk about all the time, it's a year to year type of league, and things happen. But I think if health, the way I see them getting to like 11 wins at least is if health is on their side, and
Mhm.
if Lamar Jackson's under center, then I think the Ravens are going to be completely fine. But just like the number there is kind of mind-boggling, right? Because like you have Jesse Minter coming in, yeah, he did a good job with the Chargers and at Michigan, but there's still that uncertainty. And then, you know, what's going to happen with the draft, what's going to, there's so many kind of moving parts there. So like when you consider that, that's kind of like, whoa, 11 and a half, that's kind of weird. But then when I look at the Lamar Jackson part, it's like, okay, I kind of see it.
And Lamar's, I think, only lost like 3 or 4 games against NFC teams in his entire career. So that's five guaranteed wins if you do those stats.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar, 2-time MVP, should have been 3-time MVP, but whatever. No, I mean, I agree with that. It's just right now because of their free agency losses, and I'll just segue into this next portion here. The fact that they still don't have a starting center just really, really worries me. And they still don't have a starting center. They have, they just officially signed Danny Pinter. Great. They got Corey Bullock, but we still don't know if he's going to be the guy. It's just a weird place right now because you're missing some pretty big components. Like they brought in Trey Hendrickson, but Trey Hendrickson is not an every down pass rusher. He's not a Max Crosby who's used in run defense as well. So you still have to scheme around that. They still need a better kind of run stopping pass rusher, which of course you can go and get in the draft. Absolutely. But again, you're banking on these rookies being impact plug and play players, and not all of them are like that. A lot of times these players that you take, sometimes they need a year or two to like really get going as well. So like again, you go back into the unknown variables, but especially the center position, who are you going to get? Are you going to go get a center? And especially because there's not a lot of centers in that first round. You're looking at the second round potentially to go get your starting center. That's scary. I brought this guy up in an article, but you still have Ethan Pochich out there from the Browns, and then you got Lloyd Cushenberry from the Titans, who wasn't the greatest last season, but those are two free agent options and veterans that you should consider bringing in if you're going to be trying to go simply for the draft. And again, like I mean, everyone's praising the John Simpson edition, which is great. Like he's a great 17 game starter, and he's probably going to take over for either Andrew Voorhees and or Daniel Falale, whichever one. They both struggled really badly, so you're going to have to upgrade that guard position, and you get John Simpson, but that still doesn't sort out your center position. Danny Pinter has 10 starts his whole career at the center position, and I don't even know if Corey Bullock has gotten any starts yet, but
I'm not sure about that. Yeah. I think it just wasn't part of their plan. I don't think Tyler leaving was part of their plan, and they're now probably like, I think that the way it's going to go is likely drafting someone, and like we're going to get to the draft prospects, but like Ione or Fano, and expecting them to be center as opposed to playing in that guard or tackle position, or just expecting to mess around with the line until it clicks. They've done a job of stacking it up and putting talent there. I think that they just need to figure out where everyone goes and see if they have something. But really, I do just think losing Tyler wasn't part of the plan, and now they really probably just don't know what to do because you can't replace him. You're going to have to adjust everything for this now, because you've also lost Pat Ricard, which obviously we've spoken about. That's a huge loss as well for the run game. So yeah, I'm sure EDC is probably just as confused as we are about what he's going to do.
Yeah, so real quick, he had 13 offensive snaps in 2025, Corey Bullock. So he's going into his second year with no starts and 13 offensive snaps. So again, that doesn't seem like that's going to be the guy for them, unless there's something that they saw that he learned under Linderbaum and we don't know. Sure, but yeah, I think you're right, Billy. Like they were game planning for Tyler Linderbaum remaining in the building, and now that he's gone, it's scramble and trying to figure out how to fix that aspect of it, which you can't. You can't replace a Tyler Linderbaum, but you can go get somebody that potentially is your bridge center, like Cushenberry or like Pochich, put them in, and then see if during training camp or preseason, I mean, at least the very least, one of these other guys that you go and like maybe, we will get into them in a second, but maybe somebody like Vega Ione could be that center. He's not played that in college, but maybe he's an interior lineman. That's close.
Yeah. No, yeah. Excuse me. It was very obvious that, that the Ravens did not expect losing Linderbaum. And now they're just, like you said, James, they're scrambling and they're just finding these depth pieces who, yeah, maybe he could start, maybe he could start, maybe he could start, but there's not one true, center that they have at the current moment that they could rely on. And right now, sure, it's fine. It's early March, but at the same time, it's like you would have expected them to take care of business with Linderbaum, whatever the case may be. And then now you got to look at day 2 in the drafts. I mean, sure, they have the number 14th overall pick, but I don't know what type of player they're maybe leaning towards or anything like that, right? Yeah, I mean, in day 2, you have guys like Connor Lewis, Jack Slater, Logan Jones from Iowa, right? I mean, sure, they could be, right? I mean, these young guys could always pop off whenever, but yeah, like if you gotta wait a year, maybe 2, it's like, okay. And then by that time, Lamar Jackson's already 30, 31. Just things. Yeah, I mean, who knows how much, what's going to happen there. But Yeah, it's just a lot of still a ton of question marks, especially at the center position, right? Obviously, you got to build that chemistry with Lamar too. It's not just all right, get under center and we'll just snap the ball. It's like there's a lot that goes on into it and behind the scenes, right? So, yeah, just a ton of question marks, and yeah, that's definitely something that the Ravens did not anticipate this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, going right into these potentials at number 14. I messed around with the PFF draft simulator and did quite a few to see like kind of where the PFF thinks people are going to be picking. Obviously, we talked about Francis Mauigoa plenty, but he's expected to be gone way before that, or somewhere in the top 10, even to the Dolphins at number 11. But he just even number 13 going to the Los Angeles Rams. There's a lot of Francis Mauigoa talk there too. So it just doesn't seem like he's going to be the guy that's going to fall to the Ravens at number 14. However, the guy that consistently was there was Vega Ione. So I think that's the guy. I think you take him. Like you said, Billy. Maybe there's a possibility that he can be put into the center position and work out. It's not like that's never happened. It's not like offensive linemen only play the tackle or the guard position, whatever. Sometimes there's those really versatile ones that jump around and can play pretty much everywhere until they find their spot. So that would be the hope. That would be the hope that one of these guys that they take. I mean, I don't really see it in Utah Spencer Fano.
Hmm.
Um, I think he's going to be a really good tackle that you can maybe transition into a guard, but he was ranked 84 overall grade, the 12th best tackle in college, and 21st 80.0 run blocking grade. It's a really good tackle. If he falls to the Ravens, it's a really good offensive line. I mean, I think, I brought up, I put Carnell Tate there as well, because if he does happen to fall to number 14, I think you go and take him as well. That happens, I think if you're looking at value of the player as opposed to your deeper need, you want to go and take Carnell Tate if he's there, or even Ruben Bain if he falls to number 14 as well. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting the feeling here, getting there's a consensus that it's got to be offensive line no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, Eric Costa has done the same thing in the draft every year. It's just whoever's the best
Yeah.
available player. And if he sticks to that, it might not be the case that he takes a center. Like you said, if Carnell Tate is there and other people were there that make just bumping out those other players, then he will probably take them. I don't know if he's like gonna adjust the thing that's been working for him over his career to do that, especially when he has padded out the line in his mind by paying these guys, whether he obviously sees a vision that I think most people don't see just
Mm-hmm.
yet. For me, when I was looking at Spencer Fano's film, I think he moves like Linderbaum in the sense that he is a good like move blocker, and I think he ran a 4.91 dash, which for a big guy is impressive. And I think that that's why for me, when I was looking at him, he made more sense to me over Ione, just because he has that movement that I couldn't really see in Ione's film.
I mean that's an important aspect of it too. Like you need a pancake blocker for sure. You need a guy that can move mountains, because that's the physical nature of Ravens football. You want that guy, especially because like the way that Derrick Henry moves, you got to move that defender the hell out of the way so Derrick Henry can just zip off. So yeah, I think that's an important aspect, and I think that's why he's also been mocked to the Ravens at number 14 like quite a lot.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean the other guys you mentioned I like as well. Like I said, I've said it over and over. I'm really against any other position than offensive line. But it's not going to sway EDC from doing the thing that he does every year, which is just taking the best available player.
yeah. Like if they do go after Carnell Tate, if he happens to fall to number 14, which would be kind of ridiculous. I mean, at that point you'll be like, okay, like we kind of have to take that player because he's just so talented, and he just so I just believe he could take that Ravens offense to the next level along with Zay Flowers. But if that does happen, it's kind of like that meme where it's like Lamar Jackson getting sacked because he has no offensive line
Yeah.
going like this, or
It's
it's
all
like
well and good having receivers, but if you're on the floor, you can't throw to them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's been the Ravens' Achilles heel for so long as the offensive line. Like, trust me, I've been there with the Dolphins for a very very long time. It's just all the time, no offensive line, no like really strong offensive line. So I think you know, because the Ravens were so going out of pocket and going for Max Crosby and trading a first round pick, you see that Eric DeCosta's brain is starting to go, oh, let me get out of my usual thing that I usually do. So instead of going best available player, even if Cornell Tate happens to land there, you go, oh, damn, Francis Mauigoa is here or whatever, Spencer Fano's there. You take an offensive lineman, and that goes to show you, like, they're thinking outside of the box and really trying to like hone in on, again, you got to capitalize on the Lamar Jackson closing championship window. He's not getting any younger, and that's not to say that he's not going to be good for years on end. It's just right now, look at what happened in 2025. He was out for those number of games, and the season was tanked because of it. So that's first and foremost. You cannot have Lamar Jackson being that hurt. And obviously hamstring things happen or whatever, but I mean, still, like, he had knee, toe, whatever the hell else he had that season. He was on the injury report since like week 10 and stayed on it, missed a practice each week, which he never did before. So it's like, obviously his health was a big aspect of it. They went and got that rugby performance coach, Dr. Nick Gill. So it's like they're doing everything they need to rebound from that season. They don't want to be back where they were. And you guarantee that by going and taking offensive lineman at number 14.
Yeah, and if our suspicions are true about him holding off on that contract because he wants to see what Minter's regime can do, then like if he's spending half the time on the ground, the last thing he's going to want to do is resign a contract. It makes him look bad. He is Superman. He can get out of those situations. He does his correct, but he shouldn't have to be doing it on every single down. And I think the thing you really need to do is just solidify that line for Lamar and then begin to think about the other puzzle pieces, because he's been making things happen his entire career with and without the weapons that he's needed. So I think just solidifying that line is really the last piece for him to then be able to go and explore the rest of it.
Yeah, and again, what we just brought up with Zay Flowers, you go back to the Zay Flowers thing. Zay Flowers is still doing good, you know what I mean? Like, that's the guy. So you have very minimal, and it's not like this is the first time Lamar Jackson has done great things with very little on the offense. But if you just give him a damn offensive line, look how much better he can be with even limited resources. He can still be that good. He can all you need is Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, like for real, and like for real, and that offense is incredible.
Yep. You need to just get that right. It's always for me the run game, and then that whenever we ditch the run game is when it goes downhill. So just doing the best to build the run game is what's on my heart right now.
Not only that, like, just real quick, there's just there's options at wide receiver and free agency still. Juwan Jennings, Deebo Samuel,
AJ Brown's still there.
You can bring back D-Hop.
Right.
Bring him back.
Actually use him.
And actually use him this time, please.
I don't know. Maybe it's a wild idea. I don't know. Maybe throw him the damn ball.
Use him.
Yeah.
Like there's options. It's not like sexy options, right? But I mean, it's another weapon that
Dude,
Lamar has.
I don't care what anybody says. D-Hop and Juwan Jennings are solid receivers, and they're just maybe not in the right spot. Obviously, I don't know what the hell happened with D-Hop in 2025. They weren't utilizing him.
That was it, because every time they did, he nailed it. He was making crazy catches that shouldn't have been caught. Dude, I would love to see him being used the way that he's supposed to be.
Look at what he did in that flag football classic. That touchdown catch was insane. And obviously I know it's flag football, but whatever. Like, it was incredible is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That should be the tape you need to be like, oh, never mind. Like, all right, just throw it up to D-Hop. He'll get it.
Come back. Yeah, no, I'm pro him returning. He's familiar with the building, familiar with Lamar, keep it as simple as possible.
I'm just saying. But I mean, there's still free agent options there. There's you can still go get a receiver in that second round. There's going to be plenty of. This is a really stacked draft in terms of those position players. You can go and get one in the second round or the third round, and it probably ends up being pretty good for you. So it's not like you have to spend that number 14 on a Cornell Tate. You could if it falls to them, sure, but like you just said, Billy, Lamar is not going to want to take another contract in if he's constantly under duress. Look at what happened to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is 1 foot out the building. I don't care what anybody says.
Morale is on the floor.
Yeah, I don't blame it. and nobody does, because it's like, dude, you've not fixed that offensive line since he's been there, and he's been beat up left and right, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league. If you're not willing to protect him, you're just not a smart organization. And so the Ravens don't want to be put in that same box as the Bengals right now. You don't want to be, especially because that's your rival. You don't want to be.
And you got Myles Garrett and TJ Watt.
Yeah.
2 times a year.
Yeah, exactly. Those guys are the cream of the crop in pass rushing. So you have to protect Lamar Jackson. You absolutely have to. There's no question about it. Go get a damn lineman. And again, those wide receivers are still going to be there. I think I forgot the guy that I should have kept these damn draft simulators that I did. There was a receiver that I caught in the second round, but he was still pretty good. Still pretty good. Still good collegiate wide receiver. But like I said, there's options there. There's options for you to upgrade. And even so, even if the draft doesn't go the way that you expect it to go, which it never does for any team, like no team has their full draft board exactly happen the way that they want it to happen. There's just no way in hell that that's ever going to happen. But if you look at the way that the players fall, and maybe you don't get a receiver in that first or second round that you wanted or you needed or whatever, maybe the third or the fourth, but even so, maybe you're still looking at that like not the great situation that you wanted it to be. You can still go get a free agent. You can still go get a Juwan Jennings. You can still re-sign D-Hop. You can go get somebody that's going to make that offense pop. Zay Flowers needs the help, as is Lamar Jackson, as is Derrick Henry, as is the whole offense. You need another pass catcher no matter what. The guys that you have, they're not cutting it. Rashad Bateman.
What's going on with Bate? Still
Again, we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, and apparently, well, see, and that's the thing too, is we don't know what Declan Doyle's offense is going to look like either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like his ability to get the best out of receivers could be vastly different than what Todd Monken was able to do. And he was able to do that with Roman Dunze and DJ Moore. DJ Moore was using a very unique way. Debo Samuel, you can go get Debo Samuel and use him the same exact way that Declan Doyle used DJ Moore and those like kind of like gadget runs and all that. So I don't know, but get a lineman. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
That is all I want for the first round. That's all I want to see. And if I see anything else, there will be a riot. I'll be at M&T Bank and I will be causing a riot.
There you go. Cause a riot. We're good because I hope I can report.
Disclaimer: if that happens, it wasn't my fault. For legal reasons.
Roundtable Ravens podcast there. Billie Melissa seen tackling several people. Please do so we can report on it because that'd be a good story for us. But yeah, go get a lineman. Let's just end it there. Go get a lineman. Don't be stupid. Invest in Lamar Jackson and invest in the offense. Yep, exactly. That's all you got to do. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been Roundtable Ravens, episode number 18. We will be back next week. We're going to start heavily preparing for the draft. I know we briefly touched on it, but we're going to start doing our own mock drafts. We're going to start doing all kinds of stuff, looking at everybody they can take in the first round, mostly linemen because that's what we're all hoping for on the shopping list. But we will be back next week.